Meet Codename Goose, your on-machine open-source AI agent, built to automate your tasks. Codename Goose is an intelligent and autonomous agent capable of handling complex tasks thanks to its core features. Connect with apps and tools you already use with extensions. Built on the Model Context Protocol, you can connect to extensions like GitHub, integrate JetBrains IDEs, access Google Drive, or build your own custom integrations for Goose. For a curated list of extensions, visit our docs. With a wide range of compatible large language model providers, you can choose and integrate your preferred model. You can also run Goose as a desktop app or through the command line interface using the same configurations across both. You can think of Goose as an assistant, ready to take your instructions and do the work for you. Able to handle a wide range of tasks across various engineering domains. Here are examples of tasks Goose has helped people with already. Goose has helped dive into a new project in an unfamiliar coding language, conduct code migrations such as Ember to React or Ruby to Kotlin, increase code coverage, and even generate unit tests for a feature, and much more. To get started using Goose right away, check out our quick start and be the first to know about upcoming features by joining our community.
Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wild Goose Case, where we highlight users, their use cases, and their sometimes wonky goosey experiments to hopefully spark some innovation with everyone watching and to get you to push the limits with Goose. My name is Ebony Lewis. I am a developer advocate here at Block, and I'm here with the amazing Adewale as always.
Hi everyone, my name is Adewale Abati, developer advocate as well at Block, and as always, excited to have everybody here with us today for another episode of Wild Goose Case.
I love how you pause while saying it. Hey everybody in the chat, we have a very special guest. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Hey Max.
Hello, my friends.
Hello, Max.
It's been a while.
I know, right? It has been a while. 2 minutes. Max, feel free to say your name, how long you've been at Block, your title, etc.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm Max Novich. I've been at Block for 4 years almost. It's going to be 4 years on April 1st, actually, surprisingly. And most of the time I was at Square, but now I am part of Block's AI tools team, where I'm building a lot of AI tools and helping with Goose a lot. And, having fun.
Nice. Welcome. I feel like we have to talk about your background for just 2 seconds.
Sure.
Brilliant. We have a team of Goose working hard in the back.
Yes, I love making these geese backgrounds. I think it's appropriate that I'm in a bird coop, like a poultry coop. I mean, that's where the geese live, right? So
Yeah.
their office.
Honk. Am I the only one with no Goose paraphernalia going around? Nothing.
Yeah, I know. By the way, I think it was 2 days ago, I was in a dollar store, and they had these I don't know, it's brass probably, metal geese decorations for the walls, and I almost bought them.
Okay.
I have nowhere to put them, and you're not gonna see them because my office is a mess, so background is a background.
Perfect. So this episode, we're going to be talking about vibe coding and the Speech MCP server that you created. So for the audience, what is vibe coding? Like vibe coding and MCP servers have been like a hot topic this week, I feel like.
So I mean, vibe coding is kind of a new. I don't know. It's a meme more than anything, but it's kind of a way of people who don't really code and do anything with code actually build applications by just like expressing what they want and the AI assistant doing it. It's not always successful, but for simple things, it is actually very fun and makes you feel a bit more like a magician than a developer.
Love that.
I
Love it.
mean, that does make sense because it's in the name, right? It's vibe, so you should probably you probably should expect it to be crazily insane. But I'm looking forward to how the extension today will also, shape our vibing experience.
Yeah,
Yes. I'm excited too, and I'm sure everyone watching is excited as well. So let's just hop right in.
absolutely. There's a lot of things to show and explain.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to share your screen and then feel free to take over.
Okay, so I hope everybody can see it. I've zoomed in as much as I can, so some things can look janky because I've zoomed in so you can read it. But um, you know, a lot of people, nerds and geeks, wanted to be Tony Stark after the 2008 movie Iron Man. They just wanted to talk and get their AI to do stuff and just talk to it. Well, all of these advancements are coming with like Sesame and with OpenAI having releases and like 11 Labs and all that. However, those are all tied to a provider and they're remote. I was striving to build something for Goose, which is open source, provider agnostic, which can run locally in your machine. So my Speech MCP fully runs locally with local models on your machine and allows you to talk and the AI talk back to you, and also a couple of new features I've added, which I'll showcase later at the end. But preamble, it is very memory heavy. There is a problem I found just yesterday. There's a memory leak, which can cut the conversation short. So this is still in development, but you can all see how it is. So for today, I created this vibe code repo, which is essentially a plain HTML application, which has nothing in it except the index page. And we're going to vibe talking to this and not touching the mouse and keyboard at all, just to show you how that stuff works. But first, let me show you how the Speech MCP works. So I will ask it to open Speech UI, but don't start a convo. Why I'm doing this? Because usually it will start the conversation immediately, but I want to show a couple of features of the UI first, so we can talk about them without Goose interrupting us. So usually I just say, let's talk, and it just starts talking to me, but I want to show the UI. So the UI shows you the user and agent waveforms, and you can select voices here. I have
so many.
54 voices come with this model. Unfortunately, they don't describe what they sound like. You would have to choose and test.
Russian roulette. I like it.
This is a test of the selected voice. Hello, I'm Goose.
I like this one. I like it. It sounds like Jarvis to me. So I really like BM Daniel a lot. So I'm going to save it.
Which one?
Voice preference saved. You can now start listening.
So yeah, you can play with this and choose the one you like. It's going to save and persist the voice choice for the future combos. And now let's talk. And I am not going to use my mouse and keyboard at all. Hey, Goose. So I'm looking at the project Vibe Demo, and I want us to start with just creating a simple page which says vibes on it, and maybe make it change colors and move around the page, and then open this in the browser once you're done. Okay, it detects the speech, that there's no more words said. It outputs the transcription. It sometimes can be having hard with accents, but most of the times it's good. It's going to start working and doing things. And you see in the editor, it does it exactly in my IntelliJ because I have the IntelliJ plugin. We're done.
Ooh,
I didn't touch anything. We have vibes moving around. and it's going to tell me that.
I've created the web page with animated vibes text that changes colors and moves around. It's now open in Chrome. Would you like me to adjust anything about the animation, colors, or styling?
No, I think that was just a test. Let's replace this page with something more interesting. Maybe, I don't know, let's put a 3D model of the vibes being rotated around in some, like, futuristic style. Pick your poison, do whatever you want, just make it look futuristic. The speech threshold detection needs a bit of work. As you can see, I have to take a bit of a long pause for it to actually detect that I stopped speaking. It just needs tuning, and I'm doing this like fine tuning, and it's different for every person and for the noise around. So we can see that Goose is actually doing stuff in the background. It just has the browser above, so we can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed.
And it's gonna tell me when it's done.
I noticed that too when I was playing around with it, and I was saying like it would be nice if there was just like a done talking or like a stopped button or something, so it knew, because I had that pause too, and I was just
wow, that looks very cool.
This is cool.
Yeah, so you can see it's absolutely.
I've updated the page with a much more futuristic design. Now you'll see.
Love it.
1. The vibes text rotating in 3D space. 2. A moving cyber grid in the background.
Don't see the cyber grid.
3 neon cyan glow effects.
This is this. Oh, you can't see it, right? I can see it. You
4
can't.
cool
I
glitch
think the color
animations.
doesn't translate. There is actually a cool grid in the back.
5 retro scales and subtle noise effects.
It actually looks much cooler than you
How
think.
does this futuristic
Really?
you?
It looks good, but can you make it in like purplish, brighter tones? Because it doesn't show on stream. I can't show how it looks to other people. They can see it.
This is so cool.
Voice preference saved. You can now start listening.
This one's a little sultry. Now we're really vibing with Goose.
Yeah, by the way, it's still listening to you. It can hear your words, so it didn't stop listening.
We're about to confuse Goose.
Oops.
Full disclosure, I haven't tested all the voices. So this AF Nicole, I've never tried it before, and it's so fun to have it
Oh my god.
this way. It's 54 voices. Obviously, I didn't test all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's
Let's
so
see what I got out of our reply. Oh,
While
wow.
while you're still waiting for it to get back to us, I wonder if it's
Preference. Just a second. I just want to see. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It just went. Okay. Yeah. What do you want to say? Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was saying like for example, you don't hear anything back from Goose till after the messages are in. I'm guessing it's a stream of data. I wonder if like after every message it's able to.
Okay. I can think that you
I've
can.
updated the design with
see
brighter, more vibrant purple
Do you
colors.
see the
The text
grid of
now
it?
has a stronger magenta glow, and all the effects.
Oh.
The grid in the background is also brighter. How does this version look to you?
Oh yeah, I see some lines.
Can we make it even brighter? Maybe just switch to light mode, not dark mode, not the black background. So yeah, what are you saying?
Yeah. I was saying like after we confirm like speech to Goose, for example, it doesn't respond till after the responses are complete, and then it tells you what it has done. I was curious, based on implementation, how it would feel like to kind of like speak after like every message, like because Goose gives you updates as you go, or even like an immediate acknowledgement. Oh, this is what you want to do, but I guess it has to process the information. So it's
It does have a mode where it replies and doesn't wait for my reply, and continues doing, and then says again something. It doesn't listen. There we go. Way to great with everything. So
Nice.
that is cool.
there is this mode.
I've switched
I'll
to a
show you
light
that.
mode design with even brighter effects. The text now has a gradient between magenta and cyan, with strong glow effects and 3D shadows. The background is white, making everything pop more, and the grid is now multicolored. How's this brighter version looking?
This looks very cool. Now let's add like a synthwave background at the back with some like palms and the moon, the synthwave thing. And please tell me that you did something after each action you did, and don't wait for my responses until the last thing you did. So yeah, now it's going to be telling me every step of the way without actually waiting for.
I'll add a synthwave background with waves and a sun. I'll tell you each change as I make it.
Nice. I should add that to Goose.
Yeah, okay. Why are you listening? Go.
I didn't even know that was an option. While it's doing that, we do have a question. What ID are you using?
That's IntelliJ.
IntelliJ.
Goose is still listening, by the way.
Yeah, that's the problem with being on the like speakers. I did it so we could hear it on the stream, but I'm usually doing it in headphones so it doesn't hear everyone outside.
Everything. Yeah.
I might try to mute once we wanted to stop listening. We'll see if that works, but I don't think it can actually mute the microphone. It's only going to mute the stream. So I don't know. We'll see.
I guess if we could add a stop listening button to the UI itself, so it's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, so you can see it's working and doing stuff, and it's going to be continuing doing that until it's done. It's going to tell me something.
I've made several changes to create a full synthwave scene. 1, added a glowing purple sun with animation.
Where's the sun?
2, created moving waves in the background.
Ooh.
This is nice.
3, added a starry sky effect.
Like, this is fully synth.
4, created
We're
geometric
going
mountains.
for vibes hard.
All we need is some music.
Painted the background with
Okay.
dark gradients.
Ask it once it's going to
6,
listen.
adjusted the grid to work with the new background. Let me refresh the page to show you the changes.
This could be like a little picture in your house. Oh yeah.
Can you add some music? Preferably synthwave.
This is so cool.
This is fun. I know there's still this pause back and forth, and again, this needs work with timing, and I'm still working on the interruption feature where I can interrupt it while it's talking. Work in progress, but this is already sufficiently good where I could talk to it and not touch keyboard and mouse and just do a lot of things.
Yeah. Can you tell us like exactly how this is happening?
Yes, I will once we stop talking to it and I ask it to close the interface, because otherwise it's going to interrupt us a lot. So let it finish and we'll ask it to close. And then, okay, he's adding whatever you call it. Whoops, I want to get this.
I've added synthwave background music to the page with these features. 1, added a play pause button in the bottom right. 2, included a volume slider to control the music. 3, the music controls have a cool, transparent purple design. 4, the music will loop continuously.
Let me refresh the page because I don't
Let me
know
refresh the page
okay, it's
so
gonna
you can
do
try it out.
Fine. Go ahead and then close the speech UI, please. And it's gonna do. Okay, there's the play pause music. There's no music though. I don't know why. I don't think it didn't download it. It didn't download any music. It added the player.
Yeah, I didn't put the file.
Well, we're vibing, so some things might be happening. So, and we can see that everything actually happened here in my IntelliJ, and I can ask it to open the IntelliJ and work in it. That's technically what it's doing. But if we're going to go and see how that works, essentially, this is my repo, Speech MCP. And what it does underneath, it has 2 models. So Model number one is, everybody knows Whisper, of course, from OpenAI. So this is a downloaded version of Whisper called Faster Whisper, which is a bit faster, about 8 times faster than a regular Whisper. It is less accurate, but it's less memory intensive and it's much faster with transcription. That is what is used to do your speech to text, to understand what you're talking, speech recognition. And then I've been playing around with many different models. And right now, the text to speech is maintained by a model called Kokoro, which is a model made by the Japanese engineer, which is really amazing. It has 54 voices. It sounds really natural. It has some like pauses and inflections. It's not
Very cool.
mind blowing, but it is local. It runs in your memory on your machine, and it generates that level of audio locally. It is so much better than whatever like Max or built in. It's like another level better. So those two models are loaded in memory, and I pass the text around from them and into them to be able to, generate the audio and not generate the audio and all that. So now I'm not going to enable the UI. I'm going to actually show the new features I've added. People asked a lot for. So
I think
the first,
we'll take like a pause.
Yeah, sure.
The new features, and maybe let's like answer some of the questions we're getting.
Absolutely.
Okay. So one person wanted to know, what language is Goose creating that current project?
Oh, that's literally just an HTML page with CSS and JavaScript. I don't think there's any JavaScript in there even. I think it's pure CSS. Oh, no, there is some JavaScript, fine. But yeah, it's just like, a showcase. It could be anything. Right now, it's just HTML and JavaScript.
Yeah, you can always tell Goose if you prefer a different language or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And then another question you have, I lost it. Okay, here we go. So I guess this person really just wants to understand the power behind Goose. So they're asking, does Goose support any more advanced use cases like backend services, API inferring, and things like that? So I think maybe we could just give, if you want to, Max, like the capabilities of Goose. I know we're using like a simple use case for this specific extension.
So I can just say that, in my opinion, Goose can do a lot. Most of the things you want to code, Goose can do. However, you need to understand that like vibe coding like this, you can't do like very complicated serious work like that. You would need to check and verify each line of code and whatnot. But I use Goose to write stuff in Goose. Do you think I wrote most of the Speech MCP? I did not. Goose did. Most of the model interactions are written by Goose, and all the threshold adjustments and detection of speech, that's all Goose. I just guided it and reviewed the code. So Goose is really powerful in writing things. However, your mileage may vary. If like a project is very, very big, it might struggle to understand the context. But that's not a problem with Goose. It's a limitation of the foundational models we're working with because it's a limited context window.
Yeah. So essentially, for YK, I'm just going to say Goose is an open source AI agent that runs locally on your machine. And with Goose, there are like built-in extensions or built-in tools. And this is one extension. It's a custom one, the speech one that gives Goose the ability to use your voice to like code with Goose or like have Goose do different commands, communicate with Goose. But there's other ones. We have a built-in developer extension that can do like shell commands. And then for extensions, it's a model context protocols what the extensions are. And it essentially extends Goose's capabilities. So Goose is an AI agent that you can give an objective to or a task to, and it'll go off and it will do it on your behalf. And while it's doing that, it needs like just extra capabilities. And that's where the extensions come in. You can like plug Goose into your Google Drive and it has access to all of your Google Drive docs there, or there's Google Maps. There's over 1,600 MCP extensions. So hopefully that like answers a little bit for you. And the best place to start would be on our docs in the quick start. But if you have more questions, like add them in the chat. And you can add more clarifications. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let's see. How do you set up the project for Goose to properly understand it? Let's say that I have a small project. How will I Goosify it?
Okay, so that's a good question. First of all, Goose can just literally read your project and work with it. However, if you want it to have more like agent-specific context, I would recommend using Goose Hints file, which is described in a guide. I'm pretty sure Ebony and Ace can share links to those guides. But Goose Hints is basically a hint file which is loaded into the context of the LLM when you start the session in the folder of your project. And you can add additional information specific for the agent there. Like, we're using, I don't know, code test for these Kotlin tests, but please use JUnit 5, or never run builds for this because they will be running too long. So you can add specific information for Goose, and here you can manage your Goose Hints file. For this project, it's too simple. I have nothing in my Goose Hints. It's empty. So you can see it saved it into the folder I'm working in, and you can have different Goose Hints in different projects.
Yeah. Also, to add to that, even without using Goose Int, the way Goose works is you can start an instance in choosing directories of your own choice. So whether you're using the desktop application, using the CLI, and Goose runs entirely locally. So if, for example, if you have a web project titled just like Max has Vibe demo, all you need to do is start for a Goose instance, either with the CLI or desktop, and open the directory, and you ask context to the files in that directory. So depending on what you want to do, you can ask Goose to, hey, go through the files in this folder, in this project, and learn about it, or just tell it that, you know what, I have a file at this specific location. This is what I want to do. Go make the updates to it, and it kind of works like that. So you can use it to start a new project. You can use it to make changes on an existing project. You can use it to even get context on, for example, an open source project that you don't know anything about. But Goose like, hey, Goose, what's happening in this folder? What's happening in this project? And is able to scan, read through the README, read through the contributing guide, and give you context, and also have context of its own to be able to give you heads up or updates on what to do next. And it's important to point out that it also has the intelligence of LLMs that you've chosen in the background. So aside from the tools, aside from the extension, some of the thinking processes is done with the LLM. So this powers all of those things. So yeah.
Well said. We have another question, which I think would lead us back into you showing new features, Max. So they're basically asking, is it possible to leave it running in the background and kind of have like a Hey Siri, Hey Alexa kind of vibe?
Probably. The answer is I want that. Probably. But I didn't implement that because actually having it constantly listen for a catchphrase, it's actually one of the most complicated parts because it needs to distinguish exactly if you're calling a catchphrase or not. I'm still trying to figure out how they do this with Siri and Google. They're always listening, but not exactly. Like your microphone is not active. If you'll see in your laptop, right? If you have a Mac and you have Siri, until you say Hey Siri, your microphone doesn't pop up. So it's kind of somehow listening in the background. I don't know if I can tap into that exactly. I would like to. My answer is I would like to, but not yet.
Just before you move into the features, just final wrap up. I was going to ask this similar question, and I'm glad you started this entire session giving an example of Iron Man and that entire experience. Back when I was in university, I was using a Windows laptop. We used to have these massive customizations of wallpapers and widgets and scripts, batch scripts, all of those things to try and automate your computer. And the first time I tried this out, I was just like, having it in the background. And we have the power of LLMs these days. We have the power of AI agents like Goose. I'm like, hey, Goose, you know what? I'm wondering about the weather. Can you, just find the details about the weather and plot up a chart? Let me see what's happening. And that's as close to Jarvis as it gets, because then he gets the information, he plots up a chart for me and pops it up. And I'm like, how close are we to having that kind of experience where we have all of these local and online models of different sizes, and also the ability to not just interact with voice, but we're able to send AI agents to actually go do the task. Like I can have it pop up a chat on my desktop while cross-legged on my couch. How close are we to having that level of control or that level of power?
Yeah, I can say that we're already there. It's just I'm an amateur. I'm building this alone in the basement with a box of scraps to get a reference. But people who have money and they have whole teams, they can build this right now. We have projects happening. You will see later internally for our Hack Weeks. People are building amazing things with voice controls and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure companies like OpenAI or Google could do this right now with all the controls, and Apple definitely could make Siri do it, but they're probably just wary of the impact and the issues because they have things to lose. I'm an open source Wild West cowboy, so I can do whatever. I don't have a price to pay. I don't have a reputation for a company to pay. So I understand they may be cautious, but I can tell you they can't do it now.
That's scary. Exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Scary.
But yeah, I think we can transition to the features that are coming.
Yeah, actually, before the features, I want to show one more thing. Let's talk. Like, speaking of those controls, there's the Discord open.
Can, but they never will.
Why do you think so, Dennis?
Yeah.
Tell us.
Why?
Hey Goose, can you please post to Discord channel Goose? Hey, I'm vibe posting with Goose. So it has control of my machine too, so I could actually.
I was gonna ask, how is it doing?
I heard you mention Discord, but could you please clarify what you'd like me to do? I'll be happy to help once you provide more details.
Yeah, I have a Discord app open. Please use computer controller to post into the channel Goose. Sometimes it needs more explaining to do.
Let's see.
Hello from Goose. We got it.
Hey.
Let's go.
Yeah, it actually can use my apps.
I've used Discord's keyboard shortcuts too.
Love it.
1. Open the channel search, Command plus Shift plus G. 2. Search for the Goose channel.
As you can see,
3.
I
Navigate
can't
to it.
interrupt it right now. That's a pet peeve. I
Four,
will
message
need to work
saying
with
hello
on this,
from
but
Goose, waving
I'm
hand.
putting my time into it, so hopefully interruption
Did
will
that
be a
work?
thing.
What would you like me to post in the channel?
That worked, and we're good with that. Let's pivot to show your narration feature. So please generate a script and narrate it with multiple voices about this vibe code project. Let's have one person be amazed by the looks of it and ask you a question, and the second person being the developer describing it. So one of the features I've added is multi-speaker narration. So you can ask it, give it context, information, and ask it to generate a script and then voice it, very similar to how Notebook LM's podcast feature works. It is not as refined, obviously, but so you can see it's going to create a conversation using narrate conversation, and it selected the wrong voice. It's going to read the correct voices. Sometimes it forgets which voices it has, so I had to do this. The system gives it back, hey, you can't use that voice. These are the voices. And then it will use it to generate the narration. And there's like a visual artifact. There's actually the whole script here, but you can't see it for some reason. It's black. I don't know. This is a visual artifact. I didn't submit it yet, but we'll fix it. So there it is.
I've created a narrated conversation about the Vibe Code project using 2 different voices.
That's cool.
1, the amazed viewer using Afnova, a female voice. 2, the developer using Gem Michael, a male voice. The conversation covers the main features of the project, including the neon colors and rotating text, the infinite grid effect,
So there's the conversation
the
file.
glitch animations,
We're going to open it in Finder.
the synthwave music integration.
And once it's done talking, I'm going to ask
Would
it.
you like me to play it for you?
No, I'm going to play it myself. And while I'm doing this, please use your transcribe feature to transcribe that file with timestamps and speaker detection. Oh, yeah, and also close the speech UI before that. Okay, so it's going to be transcribing for now, and we can listen what it generated.
Wow, this webpage is incredible. Those neon colors and that rotating text.
How did you create such an amazing synthwave effect?
Thanks. It's a combination of modern CSS features. We're using 3D transforms for the rotation, gradient effects for the sun and text,
So
and
it's
some clever
actual, like you can
keyframes for
generate
wave
long
effect.
scripts with multiple people
In that
talking.
grid, it looks like it goes on forever into the horizon. How does
So
that
you
work?
can voice your demos now,
The grid is
everything
actually
you want,
created using
and it's local
CSS gradients
on your
and
machine.
perspective.
It's going to be a long conversation.
funny.
There's a talk.
The first thing that popped in my head was, why did the person amazed have to be the woman and the developer was the man?
And I didn't do that. That's Goose.
Why
I
would
didn't tell
it's
it.
the LLM? It's not Goose.
Yeah, it's the LLM. So it generated also the transcription, the duration, language detection, and saved the transcript in the metadata. So here in the metadata file, sorry, it's a JSON again. I did this again. In the metadata file, you can see that it says what engine used, which language it detected, duration, speakers, segments, and type. And then here's the actual transcript with every phrase, with timestamps when each utterance works. So you can transcribe videos and audio.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can just ask it to transcribe any video you have, a recording of a session, and have a text transcription of it. So yeah, these are the two new features I've added because people wanted to have them. It works locally, doesn't send it anywhere, so it's safe to use even with private data.
That is amazing. And one thing I want to point out is like Goose on its own as an AI agent with all of the tools and the LLM backing as well. It's a very powerful tool that you can already start to do multiple things. For example, today I use like an extension to do research about latest things, and then from there I ask the extension to create a document to update that information, and it's very powerful on its own, involving the prompts and all of those things. And I think being able to add an extension that brings in audio, like the Speech MCP, and it's not just now you can talk. It's like now you can do all of these powerful things, but with your voice. I think that's just amazing to point out and to just experience like, I can do some of these things as naturally as possible.
Yeah, it's honestly really cool.
Yeah, this one is really cool. Again, still in development. There is a problem with it leaking memory hard right now. So if we look at the activity monitor, probably the process will take like a couple of gigs of RAM, which is not good. So it is 1.85 gigs of RAM, which is not really nice for a small interface. Well, actually, to be honest, the models themselves take about a gig of RAM, a bit more, because you have to keep them in memory. So it leaked about a gig of RAM on top for our conversation because it doesn't clean the buffer of it keeps the speech buffer. Basically, it remembers everything we talked through, which is not the correct behavior here. I would need to work on it, but work in progress. It works. You can talk to it, and it can respond and generate audio for you. So I wanted to get this first and then optimize.
Amazing work.
Yeah. Honestly, Max, this is really, really, really amazing. And I feel like I could see how much it could push forward like accessibility and things like that too. What made you want to create this MCP server?
Well, I've dreamed about it for years. I wanted it to work. I had previous iterations which didn't sound good, didn't work good. They didn't understand you. They didn't have action to do. And with Goose being what it is, and with an MCP, I was empowered to just make my dream a reality and make it talk to you properly. And honestly, the place where I thought I can do this, the moment, was when I got the OpenAI, the GPT advanced voice mode. When I chatted to it like a person, I was like, okay, the technology is finally there. It's time to try to do this. Yeah. Like, you could do this with their advanced API, but it is expensive as hell. It is silly expensive. You would burn $100 for whatever we just had. And this is local.
I love local too.
That is awesome.
This is honestly amazing. I want to say thank you so much for creating it, sharing it, taking the time to come on and create this the vibes.
Yeah, vibe.
And showing us vibe coding in action.
So,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt. One more thing is you can find it on Speech MCP on GitHub. It is available on PyPy. If you're a Python developer, you can just pull it from there. And also, it should work with any MCP client like Claude and whatever Cursor. I didn't test it with the rest, but there's like a prerequisite. You should read and install. Otherwise, the audio doesn't work. You need to install this audio library to have access to audio devices. Very important. And for Goose, there's a one-click deep link install. If you have Goose, you just paste this to your browser, and it just installs it for you.
Right. So you just copy that URL, paste in your browser.
If you have if you have Goose, you just need to do, depending on the system, install port audio. Depending on the system, it could be DNF or apt-get or brew, depending where you're at. And then for Goose, you can just do this. Or if manually, you can just do pip install or UV install Speech MCP. It is publicly available on PyPy.
Yes. And after this live stream, within an hour or so, there will be a tutorial out that you guys can follow. I will have it posted in Discord, but also you can find it on our doc site. So stay tuned. 1 hour, there'll be that as well. But also in the README, it has great steps as well. You can follow that to get started now if you don't want to wait. So again, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, chat, for asking amazing questions like you always do, being supportive and watching. And thank you, Max, for sharing. This is honestly amazing. I can't wait to see the iterations of it as you continue to work on it. Adewale, do you have any final words?
I do actually have final words.
Yeah.
Please, if you are a developer and you have free time and you're inspired, contribute. Build. If you want to improve this, feel free to open pull requests. I'm open to having contributions.
Yes. And you can also find Max on Discord too. So if you're working on it and you have questions, tag him in there.
Yeah. So if I add, like Max mentioned, Goose itself is open source. A lot of the MCP extensions are open source. So you can build the change you also want to see in the world, build a lot of MCP servers, build things you want to, have happen around AI agents and these tools so that we can continue to build and shape this world. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. This was amazing.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.